previous video, we saw how you can take your Z-sketch and convert it into a unified skin. In this video, I'd like to show you how to take your Z-sketch plus the armature that it's been drawn upon and convert that into an adaptive skin. The first thing we'll do is turn Edit Sketch off. That way we can make sure that we click the Show Sketch button next to the Edit Sketch button. That way you can see this transparent image of your sketch Z-spheres on your armature. At this point, if we hit the letter A, instead of getting a unified skin preview, we're going to get an adaptive skin preview. Now you'll notice right away with this specific model that we have areas that represent our Z-sketches perfectly and other areas that look like they've been flattened out. And that has to do with the proximity of the armature to the Z-sketches that have been sketched upon them. So for instance, we can see that the armature in this area, in the arm or shoulder area, is very close to the right area of the Z-sketch. So if I preview this, you can see right there we get a good projection. But these other areas, the sketch is just too far away from the armature. So what we need to do is adjust our armature so it fills the volume of the Z-sketch best as possible. So let's do that now. I'll simply jump into my armature. I currently don't have it binded because I don't want to move the Z-sketch around. And I'll just start adjusting the armature Z-spheres. Now you want to make sure that you make them as large as possible to fill the volume, but you don't want to break through the surface. If you do, that's okay, but when we preview this, you'll see more of those smoothed areas. You may have to add a few more Z-spheres to your armature just to get the shape looking just right. Now that we've adjusted the armature to fit within the volume of the Z-sketch best that we can, if we hit the letter A, you'll see that the projection is much better. We get a good representation of all the Z-spheres that have been sketched upon the armature, plus the armature itself. Areas like here at the ends of the arms, where you see I haven't actually put any sketches, will just simply render out the armature, smooth and flat. There will be some areas that will be absolutely impossible based on the Z-sketch that you put on top of the armature to get good projection, but those areas you can simply smooth. A good tip for this is not to go too far away from the distance of the armature that you're working with. At this point you'll notice that if I hit polyframe, that the topology that we're working with is now the topology of Z-spheres. The standard Z-spheres that we're using as armature have now been projected back out into the surface of the Z-sketch. I'll turn off the polyframe, and if you take a look at your adaptive skin pull down, you'll see that there's a density slider there. If your density is too low and you hit the letter A to project, you'll notice that you do get a good representation of the volume of the Z-spheres that are being projected onto this adaptive skin, but none of the detail. So you'll have to make sure that you turn your density up to a level that will capture all the detail in the Z-sketch Z-spheres that you've sketched on the armature. At this point, if you're happy with the projection, you can simply click Make Poly Mesh here in the tool pull down, and then use all of your standard sculpting brushes here inside ZBrush to start sculpting on your model.